That former Republican Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson is joining us now. Well, good to see you. So what is your reaction to that? Sununu says he's out because having too many in the field is only going to help Donald Trump. Your reaction?
Well, I'm a fan of Chris Sununu. And of course, the fact that he's out really opens up New Hampshire again. And so excited about going there and making my case there in New Hampshire, as well as just coming back from Iowa. But whenever you look at the field, you got to remind yourself this is June. The Iowa caucus is in February, I believe. And so you're going to have a long history of ups and downs between now and then. You know, 6 months is a lifetime in American politics. And so if you say you want to narrow the field to only one candidate taking on Donald Trump, you know, who is that going to be and who's going to be able to survive? And that's what the voters have got to figure out. And I think the fact that we have probably half as many candidates now as we did in 2016 means we're going to have probably one debate, a robust debate, ideas, and nothing could be better for the American people and for the Republican voters to listen to these candidates talk about what's your position on supporting Ukraine, which I support. What is your position on America's global leadership and on the border security? What's your experience in solving these issues? So thank goodness we're going to have candidates in there talking about the future of the party and the future of our country.
All right, so a good discussion. You're looking forward to it. But in that crowded field, how do you set yourself apart? For those who are watching and listening to you and saying, he's a long shot. I mean, what's your plan? Hope is not a plan, Governor.
No, it's not. And so the plan is, one, to be on the debate stage, and asa2024.com is where you help us get on that debate stage, but also to look at the answers that we have, which, when you ask what distinguishes myself, first of all, I've been a governor for 8 years, balancing a budget. That's important. Lowering taxes, creating jobs. And then you overlay that with my experience in border security as head of the DEA and addressing some of the toughest challenges that we face in drug use in this country. And then after 9/11, having to work internationally on the security of our country. These are experiences that I challenge any candidate to match, and there's a breadth of experience, but it's very unique experience I bring to meeting the challenges that we face in America today.
All right. So the RNC, by the way, just announced their criteria. You're putting a lot of importance on these debates and the potential for you to be in one and be heard. The candidates must poll at 1% at least in 3 national polls, or at 1% in 2 national polls and 1 state poll from 2 of the early voting states, which include Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina. What did you think of that? I know that you have pledged to support and vow to meet whatever criteria is set. So do you like those?
Well, I would prefer a different set of criteria, which I suggested, and they're really more onerous criteria than we've had in the past debates, including what the opposition party has offered as for their debate requirements. First of all, the 1% of the national polls, we have made that in some polls. We'll continue to make that and move up. The 40,000 donors, it takes a lot of investment to create that online capability. We will do that, but it's a huge investment. So I would prefer, particularly in the early debates, for it to be wide open. Let's not be more restrictive. Let's get candidates on there to present their views, and probably some candidates won't be able to make that criteria. But we're going to make it, and we're working hard to do that. We have to have a lot of support in 20 different states, which we're already generating. So part of that is your message and get people knowing you in Iowa and other places as to your background and your optimistic vision for this great country and belief in the national character of our country that has stood so strong.
I'll give you an opportunity to give me some real hard specifics here, Governor. And that is probably what will again be the number one topic for the American people and the American voter, and that is the economy. And we're living in a moment where so many they've got a pessimistic view of the economy and where things are going in the future for the hardworking American families out there. And, you've got the 2/3 of the population living paycheck to paycheck. It's a tough environment. What specifically would you say on that debate stage that would grab headlines, that would get people's attention? What are you going to do?
You're absolutely right. Economy is the number one issue that we face because it hurts our families. First of all, I'm going to reduce federal non-defense employment by 10%. That saves us money at the federal level, gets the bureaucracy under control. Secondly, it's about a pro-growth energy policy where we're producing energy again. We just see where Saudi Arabia is going to reduce their production of oil by 1 million barrels a day coming up in July. This is going to hurt us at the pump again. I'm going to have a pro-growth energy policy. And then you've got to have the ability to make sure that we can produce things in the United States of America through worker training, bringing more people into the workforce. This all helps our economy, control federal spending, pro-growth energy policy, and let's produce jobs here in this country through the private sector.
Very interesting. Governor, thanks for joining us. We'll be watching.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
All right. You are